Every single one of us has heroes and inspirations, figures whose lives encourage us to lead better ones ourselves. In the church, we call many of these figures saints, and today I want to sort of introduce the idea of saints to you and why we need these stories in our lives and why we love these stories so much. The word saint literally means holy one. In the early church, the term was used for all Christians, and we are still to this day all called to be saints. In modern terminology, the word saint tends to be used in a bigger way for specifically great examples of holy ones, great examples in Christian history. These were Christians, ordinary Christians, who reflected Christ's light in an incredibly bright way. Once in a sermon, I heard the word saint being defined simply as a close friend of Jesus Christ. And I think that's the best definition of saint. Having so many saints, a great cloud of witnesses, means that apart from just the stories of scriptures, building upon the stories in the scriptures, we have 20 centuries worth of stories. We live surrounded by stories of fellow Christians. Our entire calendar is full of days to remember the saints. Almost every Christian celebrates the 25th of December as Christmas, but every single day has a celebration of a story of a saint that lived in the past, someone we can remember. We have saints who were raised in holy families. We have saints who were brigands and thieves and cutthroats at first. We have saints that were holy their entire lives and saints that were only holy in their last few hours. We do not make saints, God does. The lives of the saints reflect the glory of Christ, and they point us to Christ. But the beauty of Christianity is that we start with Jesus, and then Jesus introduces us to all of his friends in all of these other stories. The title of saint is placed on a person by the people who want to remember that person. That doesn't mean we might not potentially get it wrong at some point. That doesn't mean that we might not miss some people that should be considered saints and that we've forgotten. In the church, we have days where we commemorate all saints. And these days especially put into the calendar to acknowledge the realization that God knows the names of all of the holy ones. We don't. God does, and we honor their memory whether or not we know them. So when we remember all of the lives of the saints, including the ones we don't know, what we are remembering is Christ's work on earth through his friends. Saints are a way that the church looks at a person in history and said, yes, that was amazing. We are going to remember that story and that person. There are two wrong ways of looking at saints. The first is to think they're nothing special. There's nothing great about them. They're just like any other person. Now, on this channel so far to this point of upload, we have talked about Athanasius, Macrina, and Callistratus. These are all saints. A scholar, a nun, and a soldier, all born within about a century of each other and all from completely different walks of life, completely different reasons to be remembered as saints. If you think those three people are normal, I have no idea how you could possibly define hero. These were incredible people, and we preserve all of their stories. There is a reason we have them. They are special. The other wrong way of looking at saints is to think, wow, they are so special that I can never be like that. Oh, that's a great story, but I'm no saint. I could never be like a saint. Guess who else could never be like a saint? Every single saint until they became a saint. We don't remember saints because they were extraordinary superhuman people. We remember saints precisely because they were just like all of us. They were as human as the rest of us. They had the same fears, the same ambitions, the same weaknesses, the same struggles, the same temptations. And yet, through them, they showed us what we can do. They showed us that this is an ordinary person accomplishing extraordinary things for Christ. Those extraordinary things range from massive miracles to living a quiet, spiritual life of prayer. Not everyone has a gigantic revelatory story. Some people have very peaceful stories. Take Macrina, for instance. Her life story was very quiet. She didn't really leave the town that she grew up in. And then take Athanasius' story. He was exiled into the desert. He comes back. He lives into old age with all sorts of stress. And take Callistratus' story. He's a young man, a soldier. It's a job. It's an occupation. And he dies a young man in the army. We have completely different stories for all of these people. And remember, there are 2,000 years worth of them. These stories are inspiring, encouraging, heartbreaking, heartwarming. They reflect and retell the story of Christ over and over again in the lives of his friends and his followers. A saint is basically a hero of Christ. Stories that can encourage us and inspire us. How many of us, when we're trying to give encouragement to a friend or try and give them advice or something, we turn to a story from our lives or our experience? You open a conversation with, now this one time, and then you tell them something that happened, because it's easier to process information about what to do or what can be done or how to face a problem if you know that that problem has been faced before. And in Christianity, in the church, we have 2,000 years worth of people from whom we can draw inspiration and lessons from. Great stories, encouragements, cool characters. And we don't go back just 2,000 years, we go back further, we go back all the way into the Old Testament, all of these amazing characters. And it goes into the future, because we will have saints in the future. We will have saints from this era, people that we know, that we have met, might be saints, because that's what we are all called to be. Are these examples hard to follow? Yes, perhaps. Are they possible to follow? More than possible. They did it. We can follow these examples. We can be like the saints. We are called to be saints. And in the words of Saint John Chrysostom, if you want to be equal to the apostles, there is nothing stopping you. And that's it for now. At the moment, there is also another video about talking to saints that you can watch straight after this one. As for the tea, it is white tea. Not white as in with milk, but you know how there's black tea and green tea? This is white tea. It's called Silver Needles tea. It has a nice gentle taste.